it's just what we believe and how we feel.
To be a digger, you got to be a rider.
Find what you like, don't you, and then you just build.
Well, if it's not your land, what gives you the right?
Are you going to come up and keep maintaining the...
People come and put the Strava lines in, like the downhill tracks.
Oh,
yeah. You can't kick people off your trail.
You can't come, you can't. We're not about that. We want everyone to come and enjoy it.
How can you promote to them, you know, getting on the shovel and actually mucking in?
It's actually a proper term, like, but
let me tell you a story. Oh my God.
Hey guys, how's it going? Right, I've got something very different for you now, going back to my sort of older days of bike journalism, I suppose. Now, some of you realise that of late I have removed a few videos, and I have done it before now where you'll maybe upset certain people because you've been on trails where, you know, you weren't meant to be, or they didn't want the location putting online, so, you know, you have to be a bit careful, and I do try and toe the line. So instead of sort of getting shirty with people and saying, well, you shouldn't be there or whatever, I wanted to really look at this. So I went up north to Doncaster to meet some trail builders and basically see what they have to say. First of all, introduce yourselves.
Evening. Well, I'm Rob. Welcome to the woods of Doncaster. This is...
I'm Liam.
And I'm Cov. Cheers for having us, James. Pleasure,
You're
mate.
welcome. Thank you for inviting me, much appreciated.
No problem. Just before we start, Jim, can we just say the views that we share are just our personal views from our woods. It's not, we can't speak on behalf of obviously every trail builder worldwide, because that would just be insane to try and do. So it's just what we believe and how we feel. So just for your viewers more than yourself, just this is where we're at with it, like.
Okay.
So.
How long you been doing this? How long you been trail building?
Been trail building ever since I've been riding, really, to be fair. Like, I'm 32 now. Well, me and bro, we've known each other.
Grew up together, didn't we?
Yeah,
we were hitting stupid little silly jumps when we were teenagers, and it's gone from there, hasn't it?
So like a good, you know, a good like 15 year, 18 year plus or something like that. But like kind of this like place here is like 5 years worth of work after going to various spots previous and having like stuff flattened, unfortunately, do you know what I mean? So it just kind of just brought us here, really. Yeah.
Now, obviously, I mean, location wise, all I'm saying is we're up north, and that's it.
We're up north, we're in the Doncaster region.
Yeah,
that's the kind of thing, like, yeah, mate. Yeah.
So you're all riders.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Obvious, really. You're not gonna.
Yeah.
Is there many people who dig who aren't riders? I can't really see why someone would if they're not a rider.
You get the odd one or two. Like we've got one at lads who don't really ride mountain bike, but he puts an absolute shifting on shovel, like so. You do get them, like, for sure.
I think definitely to be a digger, you got to be a rider. You got to ride a variant mix of trail, you know what I mean, throughout your life to have a little idea of, like, you know, the type of trail you want to build and stuff. And it depends on your woodland you've got, do you know what I mean? You might build something natural with drops and whatever rooty bits and stuff, or you might have like a bit of a smoother, you know, a bit more dirt jumpy style of woodlands, which is a bit more how we've swayed to. It's not really.
You find what you like, don't you, and then you just build off of what you like, I guess, like, and we've shown you like what we build, and it's obviously kind of a representation of what we ride, really. So it's just one of them things, I guess. Yeah.
Well, with some of the things that I've done, some of the edits I've done, I've sort of, you know, learnt by my mistakes a few times where I've gone out and I've filmed the odd thing and I've got a load of abuse off people. Well, not that much, but a bit. Enough to make you think. At first you're just like, oh, whatever, and then I've realised, especially since COVID and people have got more sort of territorial of their own areas, that it is something that needs addressing and something that needs talking about. So I mean, there's going to be a few questions here that will be a bit possibly negative.
Yeah.
But these are the kind of things that my subscribers or other people on media might say. The one that always comes up is, well, if it's not your land, what gives you the right to tell people to bugger off?
Yeah.
I know this is private, but you're talking from perspective of, you know, if you were on...
If you're in like a general public wood, you know, where you dog walkers having a wander through and that, then it's, a different matter, isn't it, really?
Yeah, so what would you say to somebody who says that to you, know, like...
What, you can't be controlling the flow of people coming in, I mean... Like, say if you said like a public-y style wood, like where we were at a spot just up road from here, like which were Harwell woods, where you know me and Broad put a lot of love into, and a few other heads locally, and that you know that were kind of a bit more like you'd say a public wood, because it had like you know Joe Public walking through it, dog blah blah, you know what I mean.
You had your horses.
You had horse walk going
then
through
it. You're just your typical mountain bikers that weren't bothered about you know, tracks. They were just literally going through for a bike ride as like a through pass on the route. Do you know what I mean? So there was a lot of different traffic in those.
Yeah, and you had like you know the little spots with tracks and that. So you know we used to do quite a bit of work up there, and
you did get the odd person, you know, that sometimes it'd come up and like dig what you just spent a weekend doing and getting prime and changing what you'd done, and it sometimes did feel like a little bit like, well, are you going to come up and keep maintaining this because we're digging features and stuff? And then someone will come up, you know.
It was like usually like something to get made a bit smaller or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're just thinking like we can just like progress you a bit.
And someone comes and tames it out. I suppose that's a bit like the people come and put the Strava lines in, like the downhill tracks. Straight line in.
Definitely.
But the whole not like letting people ride is not really what we've ever been about, have we? We've always kind of built for people to ride in some respect, but there's a limit to like how much traffic can, you know, a track can take before you start thinking, well, you know.
Hence why someone would say, you know, you're going to have to bugger off, but you know, like in a public wood you can't, because you know it's a bit of a free for all. You know, you might, you know, there's quite a lot of spots. You know, it's probably like say Warncliffe for example is probably like biggest, you know, local spot where over years, you know, there's been different downhill scenes and that, and there's trails all over wood, but because it's that big a wood, you know, it can't be one like set of builders to govern it all. You know, it's
super busy around there, isn't it?
Oh, right, it's a nice scene, but you know, they can't kick people off your trails where, you know, where if you like, say on a bit more like a private land spot where, you know, you might possibly be, you know, in touch with landowners and stuff, you know, and he knows who's doing it, then, you know, you have got not an upper hand to say who's coming and going, but you know, you've got the knowledge of how your tracks are running and stuff like that, or you might be busy with something, do you know what I mean?
Where we are with. Because we are in contact with a landowner, you know, he's happy for us to be up here, so it's not, like Rob says, it don't give us the upper hand to say, you can come, you can't. We're not about that. We want everyone to come and enjoy it. We just want everyone to pay the respects and that, you know, we don't expect everyone to build, and you know, it's impossible to say.
How can you like try and get, especially like new riders and older riders who like to ride off-piste stuff, how can you promote to them, you know, getting on the shovel and actually mucking in?
I think it's one of them, you either want to do it or you don't. You can't, and we definitely don't, you can't force someone to do it, because, well, if you could, everyone would dig, you know what I mean, but you just can't. It's, you either love it or you don't. And
the thing is, like, if you're coming up to a spot every week and you're riding it every weekend without putting any effort in, it's more like you're destroying that work someone else has put into something without giving anything back to that
just
spot.
A bit use and abuse,
and that's where we start having some issues, where, you know, there's a lot of people coming and they're repetitively coming, and they're not like picking up a shovel or a brush or a rake, and it's like, well, if you're coming up this much, do you not think the spot you owe the spot something? Do you know what I mean?
It's just giving. We just have a bit of a saying, it's give a bit, get a bit. You know, it's like you give a bit to these trails. You know, and it's not like, oh, get your laps, earn your laps or whatever. It's not, but it kind of is. You know what I mean? It's like all we're asking for is just a little bit. It don't have to be something massive, sweep a trail out, water a berm or whatever. Just, and you know what I mean? Like I say, it'll always come full circle, because you can't make people do something. So it's like you want to do it, but you know, for me, if a person wants to come to your spot week in, week out, but don't want to respect your spot, then that's where you will start finding you're going to have a bit of, like, not trouble, but you're going to have problems, or you might get
just
left out on a
innit?
even if it's little things, it's like
you don't want, innit?
We're going to drop in on a train, and it's like, well, you know,
what would you say to people who turn around and sort of say to you, if you're, you know, maybe getting a bit salty with them, giving them a bit of a bollocking, if they turn around and said to you, well, you don't have to build, no one's making you do it, how would you respond to that?
Happens all the time, mate, and it's true, we don't have to build, but if you're here asking me this question on our sport,
you won't be here.
You won't be here. This won't be happening. So it's like, and that's not us saying, oh, look at us, we built something for you to come and ride. It's just like, mate, we like building, we like riding, we want you to enjoy riding, but we just want us all to be on the same level of respect and just, it's just love. Do you know what I mean? Just be like, we love being this, we love being that, or whatever. But
it's like at some
help
spots,
each other
they've got
out.
like a proper dedicated little crew. You know, when they finish work, you know, we just go up and do a few hours at woods and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? You know, we get some spots and like they'll turn up, and when they want to ride it, they'll do a bit of quick maintenance to get it rolling that day, and then just bugger off for like another month or two. You know, where there's a spot where, you know, there's like a weekly little meet up. You know, it's like you're always like attending to this. You know what I mean, kind of thing.
How could you promote digging to riders? Is there any other ways you could promote it rather than word of mouth? I suppose it's a bit of an awkward one with social media, because then if you do it on social media, then you're advertising where it is.
And you start looking like you're saying, well, you can't come if you don't dig, and we never like, you know, we've had people come from like Leicester, and you can't expect someone from like Leicester who's come to just check the place out to get on the shovel before they ride. That's not what we're after. But like you say, when you start coming to a spot all the time and you're getting your clips for your social medias, but you're not putting any time in, it kind of feels like, well, you're benefiting off of our hard work, you know, and that to us is a bit where it starts getting you negative and starts making you want to say things
you
to
don't
people.
want to be that guy, but you just not like saying we get forced into it, but you know, when push comes to shove, that's what it is. It's like, you know, I like to think that we're pretty chill up here, and we open riders to come and that, but it's like, to what point do you say you're taking piss now?
I guess sometimes it's difficult to, you know, I personally like to try and stay positive as much as I can.
For sure.
Sometimes you push to a limit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the negativity kicks in. You'd be like, come
as
on,
with
mate.
anything
So
in
it's
life,
like we're trying to promote digging kind of thing. Like the only way you can is like, say if someone had been up to, you know, your spot for a bit and they come just after your winter, you know, they come up in June or something, everything's running like, you know, you boys been busy. You know what I mean? Well, it's like, you know, we should have come like, you know, November time and seen when we were just clearing the tree line out. We were just making it an idea, and I think the only way to, you know, promote digging is just to get amongst it, really. To see what it is from route of a jump through to making landing. Do you know what I mean? And
you lads seem pretty chilled, but there are some trail builders out there who are dead salty with people.
Don't get us wrong, we have been, and we can be with people, and it's not how we want to be at all. It's not.
We just want to get on with folk more. We don't want to build like more, like say promoting digging. It's probably like, you know, saying like, you know, we come up woods, you part at boys, you know, trains, blah blah, and progressing people. Then you think, oh, well, it might tempt them to come digging. You know what I mean, kind of thing, and just build that.
The thing is, for me, I think for going back to the promoting of digging, for me, I think the only thing is time. Because if you come back to a spot in 2 years' time that's absolutely been hammered and nothing's running nice, nothing, because the diggers there have just had enough, then you will find out that those tracks are long gone, nature's taken them back. But unfortunately, the way the sport's bloomed over the last few years, you know, people aren't seeing that side to it yet, because a lot of stuff has been freshly redone or built back up. But you give it a couple of years, nature will take that back, and if it's not looked after, it will go. And I think that is one big promotion to people for digging, is you will find out eventually that if you don't get on the spade, spots will go.
And then you're going to have to be forced into starting from ground up again, whereas if you literally just do a little bit of maintenance at a spot, it'll just run forever. Do you know what I mean? It's like looks after its sense sort of thing.
It's a good buzz once you get digging, because you know you're reaping your own, you know, you're reaping your own benefits. You know what I mean? Like, isn't it? You know, you go to, you know, depending if you're into trail centre riding, me and Brody used to go to, you know, like bloody Landowners, Wales, you know, Seven Stains in Scotland. You know, you're riding paid trail builders. Trails into the mint, do you know what I mean? But like the more you ride, you know, you think, chuffing out the adult tools out middle of nowhere building this, and you realise the amount of effort that's gone into it. Do you know what I mean?
I did one at my local spot over lockdown. Well, me and a mate did, and I hadn't dug for a long time, and I sort of totally get what you're on about. It's so rewarding when you ride a track that you built, and I rode it to scare myself as well, like big drops and that. And it's a different feeling when you're doing riding a track you've done yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But then if you can, sometimes you get the buzz when someone else has come up who's new and they're riding that turn you've built really well through winter, and you get a bit of pride out of it, seeing smiles from you.
And that's where you can kind of poach your trail builders for next season, hopefully, as such, by building that community vibe where it's like they automatically come in and feel welcome straight away, and it's like everyone gets on with everyone, and it's like hopefully you can get that impression in their head that it's like, oh, this is actually a sick sport that I want to become part of because it's so chill. No one's horrible, you know what I mean? It's all love, and it's just like, actually, I want to give back to this spot now because they give so much to me just by welcoming me in and just like making me feel like one of the boys or whatever. And it, it does work, but as we were touched on earlier, you're probably looking on a 45 to 1 ratio, 45 riders to 1 lad that you'll get poached as a digger. It is what it is. Is
there any sorts of like associations, or is there any, I don't know, kind of groups people can join to become? Because I find
the thing with that is, though, you join these groups and a lot of them, they're just bluffers, and all they're doing is they're just watching as to what's going on at that spot and being like, oh, I'll tell you what, another 2 weeks, if we go up on a Wednesday when they're not there, that'll be ready for us. And that's happening a lot. And even just like people who are getting out and about from COVID and walking, we had some old guy, he didn't know what he were doing. He just come through here, oh, have you seen this? And he put it on like local region Facebook group, and obviously it draws attention to the spot. And not saying it's a bad thing, but it's like you can't police it, and it's like, this is the thing with social media, and it's like, when we kind of opened gates this year, it was just like, look, we've been working hard, people who have come up and helped, like there's a bit of a ride going on, it'd be nice to see some faces up again, blah blah blah, come up. And a certain mountain bike company, I'm not going to mention no names, come up, a couple of riders were like, yo, is it cool if we come? Like, yeah, of course it is, no worries. Rocked up, like just carried the camera kit uphill and that, starts pulling smoke bombs out and stuff, starts doing a photo shoot, and it's like, yo, like we haven't even had a party lap down trail yet, and you're just literally banging cameras out, and it's like, hold on, are you using our work as a stepping stone to financially boost you? That's when you can get salty with it. It's just like, yo, we're here to just have a good time, we're not here to start making money and taking over the game. It's like, we just want to ride bikes. I can see that,
because like I film places, I mean mine isn't really jump spots, it's more downhill trails and stuff like that, and I film places totally innocently, and then you'll make a video and it'll do well, and then since this has been brought up, I've thought, well, I've made a bit of money, and you really do make bugger all off the videos, but I have made a bit of money off other people's digging, and I never even saw it like that, and that's why I wanted to do this
and that's
film,
why it can rub people
made
up.
Me realise, but everyone's comments,
yeah, for sure, and it's not like it's oh, you're making money off us, we hate you, it's not that at all, but it's like when people are, like with you, Jim, you've got a good following, haven't you? So said 10% of your followers, I don't know how many that is, 1,000-2,000 or whatever that is, they know where that track is, or they think they know. Imagine if all them people over the next 2 months descend on that track, only ride it once, that's 2,000 new sets of tyres gone through track. Oh yeah, we're a good spot, we're off. Oh, trail crew, deal with that. And then we've literally just had a spot wrecked in a month, just because one, not your video, but it just as the, what I mean, as a whole. So it's like,
certainly made me think about what I'm doing in the future, all this.
I think it like regarding the spot though, with what you're filming, it depends what the crack is though. If it's like up here, stuff out happening pretty much all the time. If it's damp, we're digging. If it's not, this time here we're just riding. But like some spots are pretty dormant, so it's like, if there's not like a big crew there all the time, you're not really treading on anyone's toes really. Do you know what I mean? If it's a well-established spot and it's in a forestry commission wood, there's been tracks there for donkeys. You're not really trampling on anyone's thing really. You're only promoting the woods, aren't you?
On one of my recent videos, that when I talked about this situation, one of the terms that came up, I've realised what it is now, but if you want to explain to other people what a dry guy is, because I'd never heard that expression before.
I know the urban, a dry guy in an urban dictionary, I think, is someone who masturbates without spitting on their hand, which is the actual proper term, which you translate into like BMX or mountain bike perspective. It's like kind of somebody who just turns up, don't want to sweep or brush. Basically, just want to turn it up and just ride your tracks.
The weather's
you know.
nice. They're out on the bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Okay.
We know you've been grafting, kind of thing. You know, we just want to come up. You know, wouldn't it be like?
So a bit like a fair weather rider, but also one that doesn't dig.
Yeah, we just come in when it's primed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Really. Yeah, man. It's a bit more like heavier used in the BMX community, but it's slowly coming over to the
especially with the
mountain bike
BMX
community for sure.
BMX diggers, they're obviously in the woods on the BMXs. They're stuffed until next summer, so that it kind of came from them because they were
in the dry season. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right,
Really.
I got you.
Which
Yeah,
is
man.
like, it's quite pertinent for the BMX scene to be like that, because you will get called out, and if you turn up and you haven't done your bit of a winter, you will be told get out of the woods, and it's just on a respect thing. And it's like, I think where mountain bike is and it's progressing forward, it's like you put any shade or shun any dark light on it like now, it's like you call someone a dry guy or you seem to be salty, and it's like everyone hates on it, and it's like we're frowned upon for ever having like you might have a bad day out trails, and it's like, oh, I'm fed up of this shit, dry guys, and it's like whoa, you can't tell that. And it's just like, not saying we're all like salty and that, but it's like, you know, in BMX world it's not even a thing. It's like, you know, the rules, and it's like mountain bike is just such a it's like a big spectrum. It's just like people just come and go as they want, and it's like we're expected to just fall under that rules, but it's like it's just a bit of a difficult one, because it's like you can't be seen to be saying out bad in the mountain bike world, because it's like people just think you're hating, but it's like I'm not obviously, if it were BMX, I know it's not BMX. If it were in another sport, it wouldn't even be a thing. You just know the rules, but it can't be like that for some reason in mountain biking.
I'm going to end this video now, as I don't want to get in too long, and some really interesting stuff been said here, so please let us know your thoughts on this. Do you dig trails? Have you got a local spot? Obviously, without giving it away, tell us what you think about this situation. And stop coming in close.
It looks better.
So join us on part 2, where these guys will have more to say about trail building and how they choose where they're going to dig and how they go about the process, etc. Thank you very much for watching. See you in 3. Keep it pinned.